welcome to the FTS podcast, Friends Talking Shop. We're here with you with episode 17, ready to go. I'm your host, Dave, and as always, I have my two co-hosts. I would not do this podcast with anyone else, so I don't even know why I do this, but I'll do it.
That's
I'll introduce
sweet.
you. I know. Maybe a few other, a handful, very few, under 20. Other co-host that's with me is Josh. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I see you're still in a good mood from the wedding.
I am.
So that seems to be carrying over. Yeah, I'm doing well. Good 4th. Fun weekend. Good. So it's good to be back, but you know, it's always sad.
Kept all your fingers? No firework?
I'm not that guy. I don't like, this is a big pet peeve of mine. I don't like Bobo fireworks. I don't like the rogue fireworks, the off-the-shelf fireworks. They're not that good. None of them are that good. And when we go and watch the fireworks on the beach, there's always some schmucks just lighting off rogue fireworks. And I'm just thinking, for what? What these ones in front of you that the whole township is putting on, the county's putting on, aren't good enough for you? I mean, what are you going to do that's better than that?
All right, that's a lot to unpack there. But first, let me introduce.
Sorry, that wasn't even
host,
a topic. That wasn't even a topic. I got carried away.
It was a good cover because Omar once again walked off camera, is now back. But our third host is Omar. Omar, how are you doing today?
I'm almost flooded. There was a torrential tropical rainstorm where I live.
Oh no!
On an undisclosed island. I live next to Dick Cheney. But there are mosquitoes now, so I momentarily got up from my desk. But David has a little camera on my computer that he watches everything I do. So if I leave my desk for even a second to get a mosquito spray, he knows. So thank you, David, for pointing that out.
I installed it once I knew you were walking around naked around your place. I thought it'd be good viewing, good blackmail maybe. I found it was less than what I thought. I'm not as interested anymore.
Is that
I'm a grower, I'm a grower, not a shower.
Oh jeez.
Well,
very, 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 very cool pool. Very cool pool.
Yeah. I'll point the camera.
That's right. There's our first Seinfeld reference in this podcast.
That's right. Well, let's get the pleasantry out of the way here. First, we have an email address if you want to get in touch with us. The mailbag it's still a lot of slots open for you to send an email. We'll get right to it, I promise you. Our email address is friends@fts.media, and we'd love to hear from you. A response to our topics, a new topic you'd like us to talk about. We'll do whatever. A invoice you want to send us, just use the email address so we know that you're listening.
And we do not hire interns, by the way. We're the ones actually reading it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We will. I have it set so it'll wake me up in the middle of the night if we get an email from
We've made a concerted effort. We are not going to outsource our email replies.
All right.
If there's anyone who has any bots that wants to send questions to us too, we gladly welcome questions from
fair
bots.
Game.
Questions or otherwise.
Spam, bots, phishing attempts, all of it.
All of it.
So what do we do on this podcast? Well, I'll explain it to you. We three come together and bring up topics, and they're usually nonsense topics, but maybe sometimes we want to be more serious about it. I'm looking at you, Omar. And so we'll feel free to bring up with a topic that we haven't rehearsed and talk about ahead of time, and we try to solve that problem and try and get 3 topics in, sometimes more, in an episode. So just to come back then to the first thing you brought up is fireworks. I do actually find this interesting. I also do not understand the fascination of going to a fireworks place, I don't know, spending hundreds of dollars on something that just sort of shoots up and
were you ever into them?
Where I grew up, they would shoot fireworks over Lake Michigan, and you'd sit on the rocks, and it was right by the lake, and so the whole experience was kind of fun. But they were lame.
Do you guys have adult friends who the adults who do enjoy the fireworks?
No, I like fireworks. I think you misunderstood. I like fireworks. I love fireworks, as a matter of fact, but I don't like Bobo fireworks. I don't like people who buy them on
Bobo. Is it a Howard Stern reference?
No. That's just like they're poor man's fireworks. They're junky. They're
David, I don't believe you can say those terms today. Poor man's fireworks.
That is. You like the 1% fireworks. Yeah. Nice
they're the
job.
fireworks you buy on the side of the road.
They're the fireworks of the people.
The fireworks of the people. Yes. I don't like the fireworks that aren't commercial fireworks, that are not put on commercially by experienced, trained professionals. Like your Jason Pierre-Paul fireworks. I don't go for
You're
those.
against basically like the Ayn Rand of fireworks. Like
yeah, I don't even know what that reference means.
Libertarian fireworks. We do it on our own. We have our own batch of trash can full of rockets and trailblazers or whatever the other terms are.
Yeah. They're silly. They're not good.
Wait, but wasn't it you who literally almost blew up a building in college with fireworks?
No.
I thought your dorm room.
I got arrested for something similar.
In your dorm room?
It wasn't in a dorm room. Yeah, I did do a firework. Yeah, I lit a Roman candle down a hallway.
Exactly.
We talked about that. Yeah, that was me.
That's different. That's hilarious.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's not meant to entertain in the sky like real fireworks.
So you're a barbell. I love the commercial. I like shooting them in people's rooms. The in between, take it out.
The humorous fireworks, I'm all for. You want to put them in a trash can and where someone's sleeping and light them off next to them? Great. Yeah. 2 thumbs up.
Well, I gotta ask you, is Bobo a generic term for like Bobo cooking? Bobo.
So you never heard that? So like, the first time I ever heard that, I played a men's. I'll tell you what it was. I thought it was hilarious. I played a men's hockey league and we had not made the playoffs. You have to finish in the top 4 of your division to make the playoffs, and we didn't make the playoffs. And then the captain said, "Oh, we have a first playoff game next week." I'm like, "But we didn't finish the top 4." He goes, "No, they're the Bobo playoffs." In other words, they're the junk that doesn't really count for anything. It's not the real thing. It's the.
Wait, I'm sorry. So who told you this again?
The captain of our hockey team. He said.
Who, by the way, David, just
the Bobo playoffs.
The captain of Josh's hockey league team has 17 followers on TikTok and I think 97 followers on Instagram. Yeah. So he is a voice to be heard.
No, but I think it might be a Philadelphia thing. It might be because everyone else had heard of it. I was the only one who went, "What does that mean? What are you talking about?" And I love the term. I think it's hilarious, but it's
okay.
I'm curious the origin of it. You might be.
I don't know.
Very offensive. Yeah, I don't know.
It could be, and if it is, I sincerely apologize. I don't mean it that way, but that's what I've always heard. So it's something that means the not real thing, but yet it's the phony substitute. It's both.
Well, the guy that puts the firework in the middle of the street and then lights it, and they all run like crazy. I find that to be it's like something to do. Maybe I get that 5 minutes, but usually it's. Someone's got a whole box of them, and we got to go through them all. Can we just start with the big red dragon one and just get it over with?
And the other aspect of this is my dog hates fireworks. And so when the fireworks are done and we come back from the beach, which is a great time, we come back from the beach and then we're back at the house, then there's always these third-party rogue fireworks that go off that people are lighting in the yards, and my dog goes apeshit. And it's like, stop doing it. And they do it, well into the morning. I mean, it's crazy. It's all night.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No, not a fan.
If it's to music, more of a fan. I think that I can get behind. And have you ever done that?
Like Bon Jovi? What are you talking about? The music?
Like Laser Floyd.
The Star Spangled Banner, and they do it. They time it perfectly with the fireworks. Haven't you ever seen that? Neat.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Disney does that. You go to Disney and they put on an unbelievable fireworks display with music, and there's some awesome ones. But I was saying actually to my wife on the beach when we were watching the fireworks, I'm like, I love fireworks and these are great, but they really haven't advanced at all over the years. It's really the same fireworks, and all you're doing is waiting for the finale, which is the rapid fire where it's like, oh, this is great. It's the finale. But what about if a firework went up and it said something in the air, or was a picture in the air, it blew up into a picture? What?
If it said you should leave now.
You're right. Why is
everyone still here?
No, that would be more disturbing. Everyone would be like, oh my God, who put that up? And it would be like pandemonium.
Yeah. I remember I was in Europe one summer and at a pool, and a beautiful pool in Italy, at this hotel that we sneaked into. And my friends were inside the pool, and I'm like, I'm gonna go and jump over them and do a cannonball in the pool, right, and scare them. And so I jumped over them. It's a crowded pool. It was like it's July or August in Italy or whatever. And as I jumped in the pool, as I'm landing in the water, for some reason, I decided to yell the word Allahu Akbar. I'm not sure why. I swear.
What year was this? Was this post 2011?
My friend
2001, 9/11?
Yes, dude. This is like probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Are you nuts?
I swear. And the minute I got underwater, I'm like, oh my God. I get up, let's get up in the water. Run.
Yeah, because a brown guy just ran and screamed Allah Akbar.
But when I said it, I didn't realize it. And I'm like, I got out of the pool, and I'm like, I'm treading water. I'm like, I'm an American. I'm sorry. I'm an American. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry.
Can I ask something else? Were you wearing a life vest? Because that could have looked weird too.
No.
A suicide cannonballer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Death to martyrs. That'd have been better.
Yeah,
Get it on
call.
that one. Yeah. Well,
good call on that one, Omar.
I agree with the fireworks. Well, let's do our topics. You ready? I have a quick one since we kind of hit the fireworks. And I just want to give you an update on the wedding of my daughter.
Yes.
We had our wedding and it went really great. And I was thinking to myself as it was going on, of all the traditions that we bring to weddings, and your weddings traditions might be very different than ours. I didn't think. But, there are some that we bring through that I thought, if we were to reimagine a wedding, what we really want, if we have all these people, a family here, we hardly get to see them. I realize the photographer runs the day. Like get up, makeup starts at 8 a.m. because you got to be ready for pictures. Everyone gets changed. We're waiting. And it's a photographer's holiday. I mean, it's really, they're running the show, and everything we do, even the dress is so uncomfortable, but you got to get nice for the pictures. So I was thinking, if you could reimagine what you really want on your wedding day of, spending time with people, celebrating, eating, drinking, doing all the fun things without all the baggage, that it could be so much better. And I just wanted to realize that actually we had done some of those things. So I wanted to list off with you a few things that we didn't do at the wedding.
Okay.
And see if you agree or disagree if there should be had. Okay.
Can I also ask, but before you do that, so are you advocating for not having the hours of photos prior to the event, or you still want to do that?
Well, my wife and I were talking about that because when you're done, what you're left with are the pictures, right? And most of the time, if you think about your pictures on your phone, like at the moment you take it, you're like, I need this, and rarely do you go back to them, right? It's rare that you do, but these are pictures you actually probably do, right? It's someone will
100%, absolutely.
For the record, every picture I've had done with Josh and David is on my wall.
Well, how many are those?
About 37.
Thousands.
37 uniques.
It's like that. It's like one of those crime thrillers where you go to their house and then you see it on the wall. You're like, holy shit, this guy is.
yarn across.
Strings and some,
right, exactly.
And some push pins.
Yes, push pins are essential. Hopefully not in our eyes. So I do think the photography is important, but I realized, wow, it really is. There's wedding and there's photography, and they have an equal amount of significance for that day. I was just struck with. But all right, so let me give you a few things that we didn't do until.
Oh, wait. For the record, can I please point the obvious out to at least to me? The audience may not know this, but I'm not sure why Josh is even involved in this conversation besides his own wedding. He's never even been to a wedding, so I don't know what why is Josh. I don't know why you're incredible. I've been to like 90 weddings.
I've been to a ton of weddings. Of weddings.
I bet you both probably have stood, and I know you've officiated a number, Omar, right? So you said you married a few people.
Of course.
Omar, Josh, you probably stood in probably over 10 weddings, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've been in a handful of weddings. Yeah, I don't know if it's 10, but I have been in a handful of weddings.
And I have heard one of your speeches. I think you shared. Was that a wedding that you did a speech? You showed me that.
Which one was it?
Killed
Which
it.
one?
Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but you
that's the one thing
you were born to do weddings.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's clearly.
I agree.
There's thank you, Omar. So even when I'm not in a wedding, I insist on doing a speech. So it might have been my buddy Jason's wedding. I was not in his wedding party, but I told him I'm doing a speech at your wedding, and I had to bargain him down to the rehearsal dinner. So I was able to do a speech on mic at the rehearsal dinner, which killed, and we got it on tape. It's on YouTube.
Is it? Yeah, that's how I think I saw. It's very, very funny.
I haven't seen it. David, wait, David, how did you stumble up? Was this when you were interviewing Josh? Like, how did you
when did I show you that?
Josh's, I've never seen it.
Maybe I'll send it to you, Omar.
What is this YouTube you speak of?
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask how I knew about the story, and I just wanted to share with you, Omar. I don't know if you spend time with Josh and eat dinner with him. He will very subtly share stories with you about everything.
Hey, speaking of sharing stories, you got to hear this story.
Yeah. Well, we have podcasts for just that very purpose.
Right.
All right. So ready for the list?
Yes, let's do it.
Actually, I should have wrote this
down.
down.
Are we commenting on each one of these?
Well, you can, thumbs up, thumbs down in terms of, or if you want to comment. These are things that we didn't do. Now, this is a American, Scandinavian focused wedding. So you might be like, anyway.
All right.
Well, we didn't throw white people. Yes, it was a white wedding.
Very white. Was it at the KKK? Like, what does that mean? American Scandinavian. I don't know the way he said that.
Well, I was trying to think. I was trying to be polite, but yes, it's a very white wedding.
Okay, got it.
Like Billy Idol.
Yes, but movies and stuff you can appreciate. So we didn't throw the bouquet.
Okay, I have no problems with that. That seems to be typical of most weddings. Now, was it planned to throw the bouquet, or it was like, no, we're not doing this?
Well, there are a few things, some traditions we just were. Daughter was very against, and so I think she would have said, "Absolutely not. We're not doing that." Just no.
Okay.
No
what
discussion.
was her? Did she give you rationale for it, or she just said, "I don't like it"?
All of your daughter's friends single, or are they all married, or she doesn't wish some happiness and companionship? Like, why did she not want to throw the bouquet?
I think she just thinks the whole thing's kind of stupid and didn't want to do it. I think
that's
that
fair.
we didn't go any further than that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's kind of a silly, right? It's you gotta say all you who haven't been married yet,
on
get
a higher
up here.
level.
I agree.
Was your daughter on a higher level even comfortable having a wedding, or is that stupid too?
No,
would she prefer to like elope?
Good question. She, I think she loved the wedding. But I think the ceremony and some of it, I think that wouldn't be her thing. That's the pomp and circumstance. Is that pomp and is that what they call it? All the stuff. I think she wanted very simple. I'll say it that way.
She doesn't like being the center of attention, right? Is that fair?
That's fair too. I think.
Ironically, the one thing I did hear about your daughter's wedding was that there were lots and lots of fireworks. But
bring it all together. We had sparklers.
There were fireworks metaphorically.
No, we won't get into that.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, okay. Then whatever. Now
I'll edit that all exciting.
Out. It was exciting. I was in my mind there were.
Yes.
Where do you think he was going with this, Dave?
I don't know where he went with that. He went to a dark place. Jeez.
Anyway. All right. So the second thing, we didn't do the garter belt off the list.
Yeah. Well, that was natural. If you're not going to do the throwing the bouquet, you don't do the garter belt. They're one and the same. They tend to follow each other. Yeah. And I think it's stupid too. I'm with you.
All right. We did not have a DJ.
Do you have a band?
No. We played a playlist off of the groom's phone.
Okay, I'm gonna say something right now, and it's gonna be in support of what you just did.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now that we have digital music, anyone can be a DJ. It's incredibly simple.
Well, I don't know how much a DJ would cost. We got speakers that were not expensive, or we just borrowed speakers. For the wedding, I looked up a playlist of wedding dinner songs, and it was just, Frank Sinatra and stuff that was just perfect. And then the groom had a playlist that he wanted to play for the dancing and stuff like that. So he wanted his music, and he did that, and it cost, nothing.
Because there's actually DJ apps, which if you put the playlist in the order you want, it'll actually mix the songs together, so there's no gap, and it's ridiculous. You don't need it anymore. Now, in the old days, when you had albums and cassettes and even CDs, before digital music, you needed a DJ. You needed someone to man the station to make sure that certain songs were playing at certain times. But you don't need that anymore. It's completely unnecessary. Now, when you do like the daddy-daughter dance, you have to be someone's got to go and cue that up. Okay, all right. So
Yep,
you were able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
My son, John on the spot. Yep. Played
no
the right
reason to have a DJ. I agree with you 100%. Overrated DJs.
We didn't have a program.
I don't think it's up to you guys to. This is interesting. What the hell do you guys know about getting married anyway? You know, I mean, it's up to the bride and the groom what they want to do. And
it's what they wanted to do. That's what he's telling you. He's telling you what they chose to do.
Joshua.
Yes.
Call me crazy, but
you're crazy.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. But I detect that David and his mom and dad were directing what they wanted for this wedding.
Interesting.
100% false.
Interesting.
So, these are all coming from your daughter and her fiance at the time.
In fact, yes. In fact, I told the other family, I'm like,
it's perfect.
Yeah. But what my point is that we did all these things that weren't sort of in the tradition that we normally do it, and it worked out great. Like I felt like, boy, we could probably go even further. Like I think as young girls do picture themselves in the white dress and everything, but it's really uncomfortable. They can't wait to sort of get out of it. Like I was thinking, like, what if we just ditch that part? Like, is that even now? Again, that's not
you can,
but do people? Like, I feel like
they
the pressure to buy the really expensive, uncomfortable dress for those pictures.
I went to a wedding once, actually, where everyone was required to wear white, and the bride came out in a bright red dress.
That's interesting. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
All right.
Was it?
Whatever. Whatever.
Josh, it's called fashion. Look it up.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it's called. It's called countercultural.
But we didn't have a program either. Ever see that? People walked in and sat down and was like, you just sit.
I'm cool with that too.
Are you?
All right. Okay. All right.
On a roll. We had no seating assignments. We had it was actually a very relaxed wedding. It was about as chill and
I'm going to tell you something. I went to a wedding once.
There a free buffet.
Free buffet? As opposed to what? They actually put in an order with Madge and she brought up the food? They paid for it?
There's no DJ. God knows where they're cutting costs.
We supplied the food and the drinks. So we did do that. We splurged on that one.
I went to a wedding where there was the first one I ever went to was no assigned seats. And I got to tell you, it was awesome. I love that. Yeah, it was great. You sat wherever the hell you wanted, which is kind of how it should be, except for the people in the wedding party that sat at the front.
Of course. Right. We did do that. But yeah, it was just, that way people can kind of be comfortable with how they want to sit. Yeah. Because wait.
I can't just gloss this over. Okay. Like, look, Josh has a particular set of skills. It's very limited, but there are a set of skills. One of those skills is you put him at any table of people. It can be people who have been dead for a few hours, or people who are on the spectrum, or people who are just normal engaging human beings, or some variant thereof. And Josh can have the time of his life.
I can middle.
Most people, he's on the tail, David. The fat part of the curve for the normal distribution of wedding attendance, this is a fact, normally need some kind of a social lubricator or some type of social intimacy or comfort with people who they're at.
I'm going to say this, and not because you complimented me, but that is an amazingly astute point.
Well, I think he insulted you in there too. I think he
did, but I didn't hear that part. I flushed that out. I only took the part where he complimented me tremendously and said I'm the best middler ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good point. But he also, Dave and family might not care that your table sucks.
Yeah. Well, Omar, what do you think? Are you a traditionalist with weddings? What do you?
He's not a traditionalist with anything.
Well, no. My view on weddings is everything that you should do should be in the best interest of the bride and the groom to make their lives as easy as possible. So whatever they want to do, it's the best idea fucking ever.
Yeah.
If they don't want to have seating arrangements, that's fine by me too.
I agree. I agree.
Whatever they want to, because all they want is for everyone to not have a bad time and enjoy themselves, and for there to be no drama.
Yeah.
And everything else is a responsibility on each of us who are invited. By the way, I've never been invited to a wedding before, but for the record.
You've crashed every wedding you've been to?
No, I've crashed probably 3 or 4 weddings.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. Can you imagine crashing a wedding?
No, I could not do that. That's weddings are expensive, and they're it's
very easy for me to crash a wedding because all I gotta do is wear a tuxedo, and everybody assumes I'm part of the help. I get in very easily.
That's true. Well, just to cap up my topic, I did do the toast and I sent it to you guys. And,
it was very good. It was good.
I was happy. I was nervous. Yeah, thank you, Omar. When you listen to it, I hope you still think so. So, but what was funny, I put way too much importance on it because of you two guys. Like Josh, you're like the wedding toast and roasting king. So I was like, I gotta represent here and do this well. Well, I think everyone is like, Dave and his speech, we got to get ready for it. Like it's such a big deal. And I thought, oh man,
wait, I'm sorry.
Can I tell? Hold on. Go ahead.
I didn't get to you, Omar. It applies to you.
I have sang over 70 weddings, which includes, by the way, giving toasts and speeches.
Right. Or listen, no one's doubting your abilities, Omar.
Yeah. I just
except for people who've heard you sing, but no one's doubting your other abilities. What Dave is simply saying is he put a lot of emphasis on it. And I'm going to come back and say you should have. And I'm going to tell you why. How many times have you been to a wedding where there's been speeches and they're just generic, boring speeches, or they're inside jokes that nobody understands, or they go on and on? It's part of the whole reception. Yeah. Why would you not want that just as good as everything else? And so you should put a lot of emphasis into it and make it entertaining for everybody. Otherwise, what's the point of you holding the mic?
I agree. And I would say this is what credit to you, Omar, is I wanted to put my stamp on it. And when you've emceed your conferences and that you've put together, you're not doing generic stuff. You're doing yourself and you're making it funny and like making it memorable.
I punch those scripts up.
Yes. So anyway, so I felt like I needed to represent well, and I put a lot of effort into it. But now that I saw it, now I want to do it again because I have some changes. Which
always,
but
always. But you did a great job. I gotta say, I thought it was a great mix of funny and then sentimental. And the only thing was the tissues. You bought a 6-pack of tissues.
Oh, you did do that. Oh, I love it.
Yes, instead of just one box, he took out like a whole Costco thing,
great.
like 50 of them.
Was it a home run?
It was funny. Well, I asked my sister because I didn't get it in time. She would if she had any in the hotel room, that just the box that sits on the sink, right? Yeah. And she said, yeah, I'm sure. And she said I couldn't find any, so I went to like Costco or Walmart, and it's 4 boxes plastic wrapped.
He bought the whole thing.
It was a bulk, yeah,
instead of just one.
That's funny.
It hit though. It hit.
All right, Omar, do you want to go next on your topic?
Well, look, David, I think that one of the things I did not say to you last time about your speech was that ultimately you could have shown up with stained underwear on, and it wouldn't have mattered because ultimately. Right. The only true barometer of, I believe, any father and mother is the quality of their children, and your daughter's amazing. So that's the greatest sort of. And besides that, what more do you need to say about yourself? Right. So
the speech needed to be.
Sorry,
my daughter could cure cancer. I needed this speech to kill. I hear what you're saying.
And I'm going to disagree with you, Omar. There's parents of serial killers out there listen. We tried our best, and it's no reflection on them.
Yeah, that's
true. Sometimes your kids do stuff that that you sometimes don't have control over. So.
But I was very proud.
Not my kids.
No, they're wonderful. I am very proud. I don't know they'll ever listen to this podcast because they can't roll their eyes hard enough with all the stuff that I do. So they would never make it to minute 30 here. But if I do, then I'm very proud of them, and that was great. So I appreciate you guys hearing me through my wedding stories. I won't probably come back to it next episode, but
you can. It's fair game.
All right. Well, maybe. I've got more kids, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a chance. Yeah, I'm sure. I can't wait to listen to it.
Omar, do you want to?
Yeah, that sounded genuine.
Yeah. Omar, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. So, this happened on the last flight I was on, and we haven't spent. We touched on different streaming shows that we all watch together. And, I think that I live in this house by myself and I play music all day and there's nobody else here to play it for. So that's when you find out what you really like to listen to, right? And I play a lot of like country music, which is, which makes me happy. And it's just
interesting.
That's what I listen to. But similarly, whether it's Netflix or Disney or the other traditional streaming platforms, HBO, there are shows I gravitate to. And sometimes I actually watch the same shows again and again. And the one type of show I really, really enjoy is anime. I really like watching anime.
Like Japanese anime?
Yeah, it's Japanese inspired anime. And the shows I watch specifically they're actually the ones I watch the most are on Netflix. Like one's called Baki, Baki. Another one's called Kengoro Ashuro. They're all ridiculous.
Okay.
But my point is, it's these ridiculous, incredible, like fighting anime movies. It's series, I'm obsessed with them, obsessed, and so much I can rewatch them. So, be that as it may, I was on an airplane, and I wanted to rewatch Baki season 1, 2.
Yeah.
You want to fight Biscuit Olivia, who's the strongest man in the world, or the U.S.
Of course. Of course.
Whose nickname is Unchained. Some of our audience may know this show. Anyway, so I'm watching it on my iPad in my airplane seat, and I all of a sudden I get really, really uncomfortable because I think, oh my God, people see me watching this.
Yes.
I think I'm like a pedophile or something. I can't watch this.
Yeah.
So, or something bad or whatever.
Not a pedophile, just a nerd.
But I stopped watching it because of that. And instead I watched a series called Evil on CBS about poltergeist, which was okay. But more importantly, like, why do I still care what people think about me, especially on an airplane? It's just there's so many things wrong with this. Like, do you guys care what people think watching on an airplane?
It's so funny you bring this up because when I was just on a flight, I like to download shows from my DVR so I can catch up, right? And a show that I love, which I think I mentioned before on this podcast, is Naked and Afraid. I love Naked and Afraid, and they have Naked and Afraid XL is on right now, and I always find it a little.
You should explain that show just in case no one.
Yeah, good point. So basically, they put people out in a very harsh climate in the middle of nowhere. And they give them basically nothing, and they have to be there naked for a certain amount of days to accomplish the challenge. So it's nothing sexual about it. It's pure just Survivor. By the way,
does anybody notice how David didn't ask me one question about the plot of Baki?
We're gonna go back to that.
Well, yeah, no.
We'll go back to that.
Give me a chance.
We'll definitely go back to that because I'd like to talk about Baki, But you asked a question specifically about airplanes and watching. So anyway, I downloaded Naked and Afraid. I wanted to catch up, and I was watching an episode of Naked and Afraid. And look, it's all blurred out. Their front parts, their boy parts and the girl parts are blurred out, but their ass is not because it's on Discovery Channel. So I think it's weird, like, because no one hears the sound of what you're watching. They only can see the screen of what you're watching. So I like to think people know that I'm watching Naked and Afraid, but I always think, like, maybe there's some people looking over. Why is this guy watching dirty people naked in the woods?
Footage of a naked person in the woods. Yeah.
Yes, it's a little weird. So I do feel like a little bit of secondary. I don't know what you want to call it. Secondary embarrassment.
Do you still watch it?
Yeah, I did. I still watched it, but like I watched oh God, what was the like The Boys? Do you ever watch The Boys on?
Great show. Love that show.
Yeah, I am watching that show.
Great show, right?
So clever. It's so current. It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome, but there's some nudity in it, and there's some violence and whatever. And I watched that on the plane too. And whenever like nudity comes on, I kind of tilt my iPad like so the person next to me can't see it because it's weird to watch nudity on a plane full of people, even though it's not pornography. It's a show, but the show that has nudity in it. So anyway, that's the get back. So I am self-conscious about what I'm watching as other people are watching.
Speaking of nudity, has anybody ever seen Josh with his shirt off? I have.
Are you just that only is directed toward me? You realize no one else can answer.
Yes, has anybody?
Fair.
There's only one person who can answer that. And Dave has two, for the record.
Yes, that's right. We were at a conference
together.
We were at a conference one time, a very respectful conference, and we jumped in the pool and played volleyball in front of everybody in their suits. Remember?
That's right. So Omar, so you were embarrassed by the fact that you were a grown man watching a 7-year-old show.
Look, I mean, theoretically, like, because I'm someone who's looks like he's in his 30s, but I'm indeed 50. I'm supposed to be comfortable and mature and like grounded and who I am, but I don't know anything. Like, I'm still care. What do I care? But I still care.
Yeah.
It's natural. I think it's human nature. It's human nature to care.
Very, very nuanced plot. There's another one called Death Note, which is also incredible. These animes are so they're as multi-layered as like Breaking Bad or like Better Call Saul.
There's a reason they're popular. They're popular. Yeah. They're very, very popular. Now, I've never seen anime, so I don't really. So like for me, from someone who has no reference to it whatsoever, I just think it's Japanese cartoons for kids. Am I wrong? Is that not what it is?
It's a lot more intense and
okay.
Adult animation in many ways. David, if you had a wayward son, would you rather have them addicted to anime or addicted to watching a show called Naked But Afraid?
Naked and afraid, not naked but afraid. They're naked and they're afraid.
I do have a wayward son that listens or watches anime.
There you go.
So he's and it's interesting because I like Marvel, right? I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. Matrix.
Our Marvel movies have gone downhill ever since that Scarlett Johansson movie. They're all terrible.
Well, that's
nonsense.
I think you're onto something there. I agree, but I watch every one because I've committed my life to every Marvel and Star Wars movie. I don't care how bad it is. I just feed it to me. I will watch it. But anime, for some reason, is like a bridge too far. I don't know what it is, and I think I've tried. I've sat with my son and tried.
So you've seen it, Dave. You've seen it. So I have seen it.
Okay. Some are slow.
What show specifically?
Oh boy.
I
feel David, like the big ones.
You like Dracula or vampires at all?
I love them. Oh yeah.
Okay. So please, I will watch. By the way, right now, one season of a series you recommend me that I've watched. If you have to watch this series, watch one season of a show called Castlevania.
It's so that's on Netflix, right?
It is incredible. It's 4 seasons. You will be like, it's awesome.
How long is an episode?
30 minutes.
I'll do an episode.
It's like it's adult themed for sure. It's not a kid's cartoon. It's just like when the fighting happens, it's a lot of like someone coming with lots of lines behind them, and they're like with the hand out with the sword, and so and it like gets into kind of crazy time and but it's really, and they can explore some really interesting ideas that I think comic books have done for a long time. The metaverse that they're doing now, but all kinds of things that you could explore, they've done through comics and I think anime. But some of it is bizarre too. If there's a mainstream, do you like the mainstream stuff or do you as anything go?
No, I don't. A lot of the shows that Netflix recommends to me, I don't like. The ones I like are more, I don't know. It's the animation, I guess, as much as anything else. So they're more realistic looking anime, I guess, than what you guys might be picturing. But like, it's Death Note, Castlevania, Baki, and Kengan Ashura, and then Ragnarok. Those are like my 5 favorites.
So wow, that's a lot. So are these not appropriate?
You're
a
big nerd.
Yeah. All right, Leonard.
Well, are these all shows or do you watch movies too? Because I'm
no. These are all series.
Are they appropriate for kids or no?
No.
So it's adults. No. Okay. Is it subtitles?
Yes. Or you can have it like.
I don't like
or you can
subtitles.
have it in English. Or you can have it dubbed. Or you can have it dubbed in English.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's better.
Yeah. Omar,
look, watch a show called Death Note.
Death Note.
So it's a show. I was curious if you'd recommend a movie.
Series.
All right. Well, give us one to watch, and we can come back to the podcast to comment.
Death Note.
Death Note, Castlevania.
Death Note is incredible. It's about someone a kid who by the way, it was made into a movie like recently. The movie wasn't as good, an American movie called Death Note, where someone is given the power of a book, and any name he writes in the book
dies. Yeah, that's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
It's an incredible, and the detective and the guy who's the villain, their back and forth is, I would argue, it's as good as any like villain and cop or detective dance I've ever seen in any real life series. It's incredible how good it is.
All right.
It's very, very high bar.
That's
high bar.
I still not watch it on an airplane.
So you love it.
How about Pokemon? You watch
I love
Pokemon?
it. I was so sad when it ended. It was only two seasons, Death Note. But it is incredible. It is incredible. And basically it brings up some real interesting like moral dilemmas, and like it's just incredible.
Wow.
Well, I grew up with, I guess, Japanese cartoons, right? Like Voltron.
Did?
Well, Voltron.
I love Voltron.
And like Speed Racer. This is before your time, but Speed Racer.
No, I know Speed Racer.
Racer X.
Racer X. Yeah, that was all kind of Japanese cartoons, right?
I know Speed Racer. Of course I know Speed Racer. Speed Racer's animation might have been the worst animation ever. It was like a slideshow.
Yeah, but it
wasn't full animation. There was no move. It was like picture, then another picture, then another picture.
Yeah,
like you don't see the car go round in a circle. You see the car there, and then you see the car
lines
a little further, and then the car a little further.
Is that right? I don't recall that.
We'll have some of these shows mentioned in our show notes, David. Thank you.
Okay.
But I grew
Do you even know what that means? I don't know how to do it, but yeah, it's in the show notes. We'll just say that.
I grew up on cartoons.
Yeah, clearly.
But not this type of animation. Like,
what was your cartoons?
So the Saturday morning cartoons. I'd wake up and watch cartoons all Saturday morning. Laugh Olympics was great. Bugs Bunny. I was a big Bugs Bunny guy. I love the Smurfs. I like the Snorks. I like the Snorks for the poor man Smurfs. You know the Snorks, right?
No, I don't know that one. I remember the Smurfs.
The round heads.
No, the Snorks had, yes, but they had the little blow thing up the top of their head. They lived underwater. They were Smurfs underwater, basically. It was a very lazy concept.
No, that was how those were the parents of SpongeBob.
Is that right?
No, that's not true.
Oh.
No, this is what happened.
There's no truth to that whatsoever.
I saw it on VH1 Behind the Music. It's true.
Oh, all right. Well,
Laugh Olympics was genius, though. That was such a good idea. You took all these cartoons and they had Olympics. I guess that's
Hanna-Barbera versus the villains versus it was awesome.
It was. Scooby-Doo was in there, had a team, right? And
there was that was an 80s concept. There was nothing better than when two shows would intersect and you went, whoa, two shows are on one.
You know that like for probably like 5 years in a row, I went to something called not the Laugh Olympics, but the Quag Olympics. And it was the same concept. We had two giant teams and co-ed teams, like 30 people. And there was egg toss, obstacle course, tug of war, basketball, frisbee golf, and tennis, and dodgeball. And people would drink the whole day. And the obstacle course was the last event. And people would get painted up in their teams and all like screaming at each other.
Yeah, it's called Color War. We had it every year at camp, but it's really not a direct correlation to Laugh Olympics.
It was an Olympics. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the only analogy there is you did competitions against other teams, and that would be the only similarity between that and Laugh Olympics.
Thank you for cutting.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
No.
They all can't be winners.
No, but your Laugh Olympics was a winner. That is do you remember the combining cartoons? Remember Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Please stop laughing.
When the Globetrotters would be in Scooby-Doo, there was nothing better.
Batman.
This is so cool.
That was the best. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Those were the good old days.
But Scooby-Doo, I loved Scooby-Doo. I loved all those shows. But the Saturday morning cartoons don't exist anymore. They don't do that anymore.
Well, it's all on demand, right? Why would you need anything to be special on Saturday
But
morning?
even before that, I remember my kids growing up. You didn't have
Do
like
you guys? I mean, have you guys? I mean, I know these book clubs and and the like, but it's peer pressure can be effective and can be used for good, right? And so I like the idea, right, of having someone who you trust enough to say, listen, I will commit myself to a season of a show if you commit to yourself to a season of a show that I recommend, and then you both do.
Yeah,
And
we
like,
already agreed. We already agreed to this about 2.5 minutes ago.
No,
Have we?
Josh,
Have we?
You committed to
Yeah.
one episode, Josh. I want
Yeah,
you to
because
commit to
I can't commit to a whole season of anime. What if I hate it? Then I gotta watch.
No, I want you to give it 3 episodes.
How many are in a season?
Not many, like 8.
All right,
Oof.
you can get
4
through 8.
hours. That's 4 hours.
You can do it
You will love it, Josh. You will love it.
I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give it a go because of how much you talked it up.
There is some downside risk here, right? But I'm okay with the risk, right? I did this with my friend Mike Tiedemann, and he gave me a terrible show, and I would never ever watch a show he recommends ever again.
What was the show he gave you? Give me the show he gave you.
Like Cave or something. It was some show on Netflix set in like Sweden.
Dark.
There was like Dark. That's it.
Yes,
Dark.
I've seen this. That's
And
the
I
most
forced
convoluted
myself
show.
on
Yeah.
season, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, Tiedemann's a smart guy, at least on TV. I'm like, okay, this must be something that's worth like watching. And it was just terrible.
It's very good, but it's
The reason why you liked it because there was a character who had the last name Tiedemann, and that's what I realized.
God, that's ridiculous.
He wouldn't admit it to this day, but that's why. Anyway, his opinion means crap to me, at least in terms of these shows.
I watched 2 seasons of Dark, and I had to have I went on the internet to find a diagram that put people's relationships together, and I had to constantly watch that as every new scene came up. Who is that? How I can't explain it without spoiling it, but right, it was so unbelievably complicated. So,
yeah, Death Note, you guys will just you actually be thanking me. You're like,
I'm gonna give it a go.
I'm committing to a season.
I'm committing to 2 episodes, and if I like it, I will admit to it and go on. I would try. I give you my It's very hard. It's very hard to commit to anime. It's a very big unknown for me. I'm gonna give it a go. I really am, because you talked it up so highly.
This has magnificent, like, you can read the reviews of it as well. It's probably, yeah, it's excellent.
Your say so's enough.
I don't need the reviews. I'm gonna watch it. Death Note. I'm on.
And I think you should be able to watch it on a plane. I think the coming back to your, should you feel bad about watching? I think the only thing that I really don't want to watch on a plane with someone next to me is nudity. That's really uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's funny. Violence, I'd be like, big deal, which is probably weird. But I would probably let that go before. But anime, I would, yeah, whatever. They don't probably care. Even if they were like, what a dummy for watching cartoons. I'll never see this person again. So
but don't you always, like, if someone's watching, I always like to see what other people are watching. When I walk to the bathroom and I'm walking back and I can see everyone's screen, I look at everyone's screen. I want to know what everybody is watching.
I don't know if I've ever done that. I'm passed out. So
yeah, well, yeah, you're in La La Land. That's true.
All right. Well, Josh, do you want to go with your topic?
Yeah, so this is something you guys have heard me talk about before, but I want to bring it up because I have not talked about it on the podcast. But this goes to July 4th. So July 4th, it's a big barbecue weekend, right? And we barbecued quite a bit, actually, on July 4th. And what I got a little perturbed about was the fact that, all the cheese was American cheese. For some reason, that seems to be the standard cheese. And, you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do, and I just need our listeners to hear it too, because I don't
know where he's going with this.
You don't? Okay, good. Here's my thing on this, Omar. American cheese sucks. It just does. And the fact that we put our brand, America, and we stamp it on there is embarrassing. And Dave's heard me say this. It's a first world country with a third world cheese. And
what are the origins of American cheese, so to speak? Do we know?
The origins of it?
Yeah.
It's made here. I mean, it's why it's called American
Literally
cheese.
in America.
I don't know the origins of it. I don't know how it started. Maybe little Timmy Kraft came up with it in 1847. I don't know. but it's clearly here. It's nowhere else, by the way, which is the other thing. You can't get American cheese in Europe, but you can get all their cheeses here. So that just tells you. Yeah, that just tells you something. And it's not like we're bad at cheese. That's the other thing that yeah.
I'm going to blow you up here, Josh.
Go ahead, blow me up.
Processed cheese that has become known as American cheese was first developed in Switzerland, not America.
Wow.
Back in 1911.
Okay,
Cheese
so
alchemists Walter Gerber and Fritz Stelter heated up Emmental, which, by the way, is another word for Jews. I'm kidding.
Oh,
Inappropriate.
geez, unbelievable.
I'm kidding. Heated up Emmental, a hard Swiss cheese with sodium citrate in an attempt to create a cheese with a longer standing shelf life.
Okay, so this even goes further to my point.
Craft became marketing.
It actually proves your point.
It does.
Yeah,
the Swiss
became to refer to the processed variety. I'm sorry, guys.
The Swiss made it, and they didn't want it. They let us call it American cheese. It goes more to my point, and this is something. Thank you actually for looking that up because I had no clue the origins of it. I just assumed it was a couple guys in a basement with a cow here in America in the Midwest, but it's not. It's made in another country, and they said, you know what, this is pretty shitty. We don't even want it. You guys can have it.
You know what? You're right. It's like a hot dog of cheeses. It's American cheese. It's a processed cheese made by mixing cheddar cheese, washed curd cheese, Colby cheese, and granular cheese, among other ingredients.
Okay, look, here's the thing about it. We can have American cheese, the cheese. I just don't want to call it American cheese because it's embarrassing that that's our national cheese. We put America's name on it. We have such good cheeses. We have Monterey Jack. We have cheddar. We have Colby. These are really good cheeses. Every one of those is better than American cheese, and we'd be more proud to put the American label on one of those.
Is there something called Italian cheese or Swiss cheese? Swiss cheese there is, but
there's
German
Swiss cheese. Well, no, there's different cheeses from those regions. The only other one I could think of was Swiss cheese that throws a national label on a cheese.
I love Swiss cheese. Love it.
I love Swiss cheese too.
Yeah.
So I looked online. You ready for this? You know that website Ranker? They rank everything.
Okay.
So they ranked 134 cheeses. Okay? 134 they ranked. Where do you think American cheese fell in their ranking?
Right above Provel.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
I'm going to guess 129.
I'll say 76.
Okay, look, there's a lot of bad cheeses out there. There's a lot of stinky cheeses and a lot of shitty cheeses. But they ranked 94th.
Ooh.
94th. That just goes to show you how shitty that cheese is. And for some reason, we keep using it. And I don't want it on anything other than a grilled cheese. I think it's somewhat acceptable in a grilled cheese sandwich. But other than that, it's a low-rated. I'll go back to my beginning of this podcast. It's a Bobo cheese, and we keep using it. And we're putting our label on it, and I don't like it.
Well, hold on. What's the point of it, though, is like we need some kind of cheese to throw in these kids' lunch boxes that won't, and sit in a locker. Like,
fine.
Is that right? That's
fine. I don't mind that it exists, but don't call it American cheese. It's embarrassing to this country. Let's call it Colby and make Colby American cheese, or call it cheddar and make cheddar American cheese.
Yeah. I'm on board with calling cheddar American.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know who's got cheddar.
Cheddar is far superior to American cheese. Everybody knows it.
Wait. I mean, Budweiser's America's beer.
That's different.
Why do we have to have this elitist attitude about America? Not everything about America is the best.
That's true. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying this is something we have control over as a nation. And by the way, Budweiser is a private company with a private label. American cheese is not a private company. There's plenty of companies that make American cheese, just as there's plenty of companies that make cheddar cheese. So someone decided that this was going to be called cheddar and this was going to be called American, and they screwed up royally.
They picked
listen, you can never go wrong. It's marketing. They're appealing to nationalism.
But it's a bad cheese, Omar. It's a bad representation of what we can do in the world of cheeses. If we sucked at cheese, if we were a shitty nation of cheese, I get it. This is our best. Here we go. This is our best thing we can do. Sorry. And by the way, let's go back. American cheese really is the yellow mustard of cheese. That's what it is, because yellow mustard's for kids. No adult should be eating yellow mustard. Eat brown mustard like an adult. And American cheese is for kids. Kraft Singles is for kids. No adult should be eating that crap.
So people brought American cheese to your cookout? That's what you're upset about?
It's American cheese and there's nothing else.
You're just back to the American. Yeah.
I don't. The thing is, the reason it exists is because it has a high utility, a high shelf life. It's convenient, and honestly, that's part of the reason of its appeal, right?
I agree with all of that, but it shouldn't have our national label on it.
It's the name that bothers. It's not the purpose of the cheese. He wants it to be.
It's the name.
What else is called American? Whatever. America's truck is Ford.
No. But that again is a
the America
private
car, right?
Is the Rock?
No. Look, the American flag. That's our best flag, right? Shouldn't the American flag be our best flag? It is. It is our best flag. We haven't come up with a better flag. I haven't seen a better flag than that, right? So that's good. Whatever.
American Airlines.
Great. It's our best airlines.
I also think, David, if I could interject, Josh, I'm sorry to overtalk you. I just think that you're looking at things to the scope of like this elitism. Like half the country probably loves American cheese more than anybody.
They can continue to love American cheese.
This website, for the record, I think is funded by George Soros. So I don't even know how legitimate they are.
That's two anti-Semitic things on this podcast. We're just going to keep counting.
What about American Eagle? American Express?
Well, these are, again, private companies. It's not a generic name for a product.
So still, okay.
Doesn't count.
American Psycho?
Isn't The Rock America's champ?
The Rock is America's champ. And there's no one better than The Rock. He does it all.
That is true.
He does it all.
That is a fair point.
You know what it is? Here you go. Let's use that as an example. It would be as if we named John Cena The Rock and The Rock John Cena. That would be so foolish because John Cena is the American cheese
of wrestling.
Of wrestling and acting. He's not nearly as good as The Rock. The Rock is a better actor and a better wrestler than John Cena, and he's better looking. So John Cena is American cheese. Yet for some reason,
Josh, you're saying if there's no cheese left and there's only American cheese for a burger, you won't have to put American cheese.
I will use it. What I'm saying is That's
what I mean. America's there when you need us. We're there.
There are so many cheeses. There are so many cheeses that are so much better than American cheese.
They don't meet their obligations. They don't pay their dues. You know what I mean? They're not there for you. But American cheese in your fridge for 6 months, and when you need
That's true. That's true.
One random night,
true.
Just like fucking America.
That is true.
Please, right now, David, please, something.
I will give you, if it was ranked based on shelf life, American is the best.
It's the James Brown of cheeses. Okay,
we don't rank food based on shelf life. That's not how Gordon Ramsay chooses his products when he cooks. He doesn't go, this is the best shelf life. That's what I'm going to use.
That scene in Rocky too with Apollo Creed and James Brown and
this is exhausting. It's exhausting, and I'm going to go to the mat for this because American cheese sucks. Should it exist? Yes.
You are the arbiter.
I want to point one thing out is that this story goes a step further. There was a dinner or lunch or something where Josh had had the wonderful experience of sitting at a table with a 5-star general.
Yes, David Petraeus. I did it. I'll drop it.
David Petraeus. This man was responsible for the Iraq War, maybe, or Afghanistan, like whatever. So the people went around the table and could ask General Petraeus a question. And what were you last?
I was last, yes.
And so Josh,
I was sitting next to him.
The question Josh proposed to General Petraeus was, why do we call American cheese American and cheddar? Why shouldn't we switch the names? He said that to a general.
Because it was on the basis of national security and national pride. And what better person to take my message to whoever the hell needs to fix this wrongful mistake that we've lived with for centuries.
Could you imagine if he said, listen, son, I've killed thousands of people. I don't need your crap about cheese. Like, if you would have done that, you would have never told that story, but apparently he laughed at it.
I was willing to roll the dice on that one.
Yeah, that's some cojones there. I would not have done it.
I did. That's a true story. I did do that, and Petraeus loved it. And I actually told him before I even told him, I go, you're going to want to take out a pen and paper for this. Yeah. And he did. From his suit jacket pocket, he did.
I had to say, like, I went through this thing a few weeks ago, and when you ask a question, you say at first what your superpower was, and I said that my superpower was I didn't want to answer, and then I said the ability to get in the rooms I have no business being in.
Yes, I remember that answer.
And for Josh, I have to say this, like, your opinion about American cheese, aside, you are extraordinarily gifted at talking to people who are famous. You're never ever starstruck.
That's many compliments. Yeah.
The heap of praise that
you are so good at it. You're so good at it.
The heap of praise that you have laid, because they're people. They're just people just like us. If you look at us.
I think David Erickson is the American cheese of our podcast.
Why? Why do I get the crap?
Because you're always there for us, David. That's right.
That's true. My shelf life is amazing.
Omar, the heap of praise I'm getting from you this episode is just truly amazing. And I think that might be why you put in a few anti-Semitic quips there. Just to even out the score.
I'm also drunk and stoned right now, so that might be.
That might do it too.
Well, yeah. Well, then why can't you be nice to me when you're stoned? That's
Look, every man's. I happen to view that as a very big compliment. The American cheese.
One man's cheddar is another man's American. Is that what you're saying?
There you go. There you go. Oh my God.
It's a horse apiece. Yeah.
But let me and on the last issue of cheese before we go, where Dave lives in St. Louis, they have their own cheese. And it's called Provel, for those of you who've never been to St. Louis. And they put it on
provolone, right?
Not provolone, Provel. And they put it on their pizza there, and the people love it there. And it's more disgusting than American cheese. It's the grossest thing you've ever had in your life.
And I had blocked that out of my brain until you just mentioned it for the fourth time. And David, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I have a picture of you trying it for the first time.
I had dinner with Dave and our friend Timmy, and it was horrid. It was horrid.
It's awful. It's awful. It's disgusting. It should never, ever be in existence. And the people, they swear by it in St. Louis. And I keep telling them, if it was that good, if your magical cheese was that good, it would go out of St. Louis like every other thing that's created somewhere that people love and go, boy, I got to show this to everybody else. But it doesn't leave St. Louis. And there's a reason for that. It's gross. And there's the picture. You can't see it, listeners. Right. But it is Omar with a scowl. A scowl on his face.
And I love pizza. I had a pizza today, actually. It was the worst cheese I've ever had. It was the worst pizza I've ever had in my life.
Well, and the problem is that people are trying to solve problems that they shouldn't. The only problem with food should be taste. The American cheese is shelf life. The Provel cheese is they wanted to make a cheese that when you pull the slice away from the pizza, that the cheese would disconnect easily. Why would you want to solve that?
Why would you do that?
Right.
But mozzarella is glorious.
Right.
It is made for pizza. It is beautiful. No one has perfected pizza cheese more than mozzarella and the Italians. So don't screw with it.
Well, that's what St. Louis did. They said, we want a pizza that you pull it away easily, and it does. But unfortunately, it also sticks to the roof of your mouth, which is gross. And it doesn't digest for 23 years is what I've heard.
Does your family enjoy that cheese?
No, we, this is a running thing in St. Louis that people from here love it. And
he's not from there. He just lives there.
But we moved here and had pizza from Emo's, which is the local place that has it. And we all were like, this pizza's bad. Something's wrong with it. And we went to return or call, and they said, no, that's Provel. It's a little bit different. And I thought, why? I mean, even the kids who would love pizza on anything were like crying, and it was mayhem.
This is also just this is called Tuesday night at the Ericksons.
A town in the Midwest in the United States should not be trying to tackle an Italian cuisine.
Yeah, right. We got
should not be trying to. Yeah, thanks Italy, but no thanks. I think we've one upped you.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. You haven't. It's gross.
That's fair. Well, I thought it'd take a while. I don't know if you're aware of this, listeners, but there are probably 5 or 6 stories that Josh will cycle through on a regular basis, and the cheddar versus American is one.
You've heard before.
You've got
heard
4
before.
more to go.
Yeah, you've heard that one before, but I couldn't resist because we hadn't talked about it on the podcast yet, and it just came up again with July 4th and the barbecue, and I went, enough of this American cheese. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Is Fat Goalie going to come up soon?
Oh, yeah, that could be on the list. So be ready for that one.
All right, that's another tease.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, what do you say? Wrap this up. What do we got to put in the show notes? All the anime, the top 130 cheeses ranked. We'll put that in the show notes.
134.
I'll put the top 10 things we didn't include in the wedding. This is going to be a long task for me.
This is a long one. Yeah, this is a big one.
I'll put another pot of coffee on. I'll get through it. Well, this has been fun, guys. We'll do it again next week.
Definitely.
Anything left to say for the good? Omar, are you awake still? Thanks for.
I was just thinking. Thank you for all the work that you put into editing this. That's Josh doesn't do anything.
Right.
I send in my quips and thoughts here and there.
Thank you.
But like I said, you're the American cheese of our podcast.
Thank you, I guess. It was almost a compliment. You were heading toward a compliment, and then it sort of steered left a little bit.
Omar, you are the Gorgonzola.
Yeah. All right, we'll put it there. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you later.
See ya.
By the way, do you guys